welcome back to a chapter a day. Happy Thursday. We are nearing the end of yet another week. Yesterday we saw David praising God in Psalms. Those are what we call Psalms. Later on, when we do get to read the Psalms, we will hear a lot of what David mentioned yesterday. How God kept him, and praising God who brought him out of his enemy's foothold, and referring to God as his rock and his salvation. Wow. So these were David's words to God after his soldiers won the wars over the Philistines. And now we're going to move on to chapter 23. Let's see what happens next. Chapter 23. Okay, and we are closing into the end. Now these be the last words of David. David the son of Jesse said, "And the man who was raised up on high, the anointed of the God of Jacob, and the sweet psalmist of Israel, said, The Spirit of the Lord spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. The God of Israel said, The rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God. And he shall be as the light of the morning when the sun riseth, even a morning without clouds, as the tender grass springing out of the earth by clear shining after rain. Although my house be not so with God, yet he hath made with me an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things and sure. For this is all my salvation and all my desire, although he make it not to grow." So David is saying that after he's given all his praise and thanks to God, he's giving sort of like words of wisdom. God's house is supposed to be one in which, let's see what he said. The light of the morning should rise. And he said, even though his house was not like that, God still had mercy on him. And the man that ruleth must be ruling justly in the fear of God. That's the truth. Verse 6. "But the sons of Belial shall be all of them as thorns are thrust away, because they cannot be taken with hands. But the man that shall touch them must be fenced with iron and the staff of a spear, and they shall be utterly burned with fire in the same place. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had: the Tachmonite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. The same was Adino the Eznite. He lifted up his spear against 800 whom he slew at one time. And after him was Eleazar the son of Dodo the Ahohite, one of the 3 mighty men with David, when they defied the Philistines that were there gathered together to battle. And the men of Israel were gone away. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand clave unto the sword. And the Lord wrought a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to spoil." So he's sort of like recounting the things that has taken place so far since he's been king, the battles with his men. Verse 11. "And after him was Shammah the son of Agi the Hararite. And the Philistines were gathered together into a troop, where was a piece of ground full of lentils, and the people fled from the Philistines. But he stood in the midst of the ground and defended it, and slew the Philistines, and the Lord wrought a great victory. And 3 of the 30 chief went down, and came to David in the harvest time, unto the cave of Adullam. And the troop of the Philistines pitched in the valley of Rephaim. And David was then in an hold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. And David longed and said, Oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate." Now these are all recounts of things that happened. If we remember, when David was in battle running from Saul, he wanted water from a specific well, and 3 men went to get it for him, and he didn't drink it because he was so touched that they risked their own lives to get him water. So he offered the water up to God by pouring it out. I don't know. Verse 16. "And the 3 mighty men brake through the host of the Philistines, and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem, that was by the gate, and took it, and brought it to David. Nevertheless he would not drink thereof, but poured it unto the Lord. And he said, Be it far from me, O Lord, that I should do this. Is not this the blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their lives? Therefore he would not drink it. These things did these 3 mighty men. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was chief among 3. And he lifted up his spear against 300 and slew them, and had the name among 3. Was he not most honorable of 3? Therefore he was their captain. Howbeit he attained not unto the first 3. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion, in the midst of a pit in time of snow. So he's kind of just going back. You know, they say as you get older, you sit, and I know I do this. I sit and I can just think back on things that happened in my life from childhood all the way through my teenage years to my older years. This is sort of what David is doing. He's getting older in years. He's going back over his time of serving as a king, his men, the captains of his armies, the defeats that they had in battle. Verse 21, and he slew an Egyptian, a goodly man, and the Egyptian had a spear in his hand. But he went down to him with a staff, and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand, and slew him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and had the name among 3 mighty men. He was more honorable than the 30, but he attained not to the first 3. And David set him over his guard. Asahel, the brother of Joab, was one of the 30. Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem. Shammah, the Harodite. Elika, the Harodite. Heles, the Palite. Okay, so he's going down a whole long list. This is almost leading us into Chronicles, because this is what we're going to find later on in Chronicles. But this is just like a chronicle of all the different men that David had serving him. So he's listing all of them. I'm not going to read all of that because it's just a bunch of names. And coming to verse 39, it mentions Uriah the Hittite, 30 and 7 in all. So these were his mighty men. These were like the captains and the captains of the different groups in his army. These are the valiant men that helped him to accomplish all of those defeats of the Philistines. And he ended with Uriah. That's it. It's more of a recount of David as he's getting older. His mind is just going back to the things that he accomplished through God's help. Of course, he always gives God the thanks and praise and he's suggesting that the man that ruleth must be just and ruling the fear of God. I don't think we have God-fearing rulers anymore. I don't think we have any theocratic states anymore, any theocratic countries that are, well, if they are theocracy, they're not Christian. So anyway, so that's the end of chapter 23 of 2 Samuel. More of David's recount than any other new ventures that have taken place. Okay? All right. That's the end of our reading for today as well. And until our next reading, thank you again for viewing, for listening, and remember to keep listening, because faith comes by hearing God's word. Take care. Bye.